So my apologies if with that trying to be efficient, if it offends any other people, we apologize in advance.
Vir effektiwiteit, as dit enigiemand sal kwaadlik neem, of ons wil nie eens moet kwaadlik geneem word nie, dat ons effektief kan wees vir vandag se verrigtinge asseblief.
But we are trying to be as fair as possible because this session is about you sharing with us what do you think on the proposed amendment to a bill.
Ons wil probeer so regverdig as moontlik wees sodat u insaag kan lewer oor die wysigingswetsontwerp.
We are the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy
Ons is
from the National Assembly.
Ons is die portefeulje komitee op minerale hulpbronne en energie vanaf die nasionale vergadering.
On my far left, we have Honorable Graham Murray.
Aan die verre regterkant, agbare Graham Murray.
Next to her, we have got Honorable Bilangulu.
Langs haar is agbare Bilangulu.
Next to Honorable Bilangulu, we have Honorable Volmarans.
Langs hom is agbare Wolmerans.
Next to me, we have Honorable Mahlaule.
Langs my is agbare Mahlaule.
On my right, we have Honorable Kyobeka Makeke.
Aan die regterkant agbare Kyobeka Makeke.
We have Honorable Jafta.
Agbare Jafta.
We have Honorable Malinga.
Agbare Malinga.
I am Mr. Luzipo, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy.
My naam is meneer Luzipo en ek is die voorsitter van die komitee van minerale hulpbronne en energie.
We are here because the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has referred a draft bill to the National Assembly, which then was referred to this Portfolio Committee as the relevant committee.
Ons is hier vandag van die departement van minerale en energie het vir ons 'n wetsontwerp gestuur na die nasionale vergadering toe. Hierdie is toe verwys na ons komitee minerale bronne en energie en van daar af is ons uitgekom na u toe om die insaag te kry daaroor.
The Portfolio Committee decided to embark on a three-pronged public consultation process.
Die komitee het besluit om op 'n driedelige publieke verhoor konsultasieproses na vore te gaan.
One was to request for written submissions,
Die eerste een is om 'n versoek te rig vir geskrewe insaag,
which subsequently will be followed by oral submissions
wat gevolg sal word daarna deur mondelikse insaag,
on the written submissions.
wat gaan oor die geskrewe insaag.
The second part was to refer the bill to the National House of Traditional and Khoisan Leadership in as much as it is not compulsory in terms of the rules of the National Assembly.
Daarna is hierdie wetsontwerp verwys na die nasionale huis van tradisionele leiers Khoi en San. Ook al is dit nie verpligtend volgens wet nie, het die komitee dit gedoen.
The third one was to conduct public hearings,
Die derde een is om hierdie vergaderings te hou.
which means we had to go to those who could not have the resources to go to Cape Town or may have access in today's technology.
Dit beteken dat ons moes gaan na die mense wat nie Kaapstad toe kan gaan of toegang het tot vandag se tegnologie nie.
So there is a simple saying, idiom that says, if Caesar can come to the mountain, then the mountain must come to Caesar.
Daar's 'n spreekwoord wat sê as Caesar nie na die berg toe kan kom nie, dan sal die berg na Caesar toe gaan.
So we are here now so that we can get your views
Ons is hier om u siening te hoor
and use this opportunity to share with us what are your views.
en maak asseblief gebruik van hierdie geleentheid om u siening vir ons te gee.
Without any further ado, because this leg yesterday was being conducted by Honorable Volmarans, he is gonna now continue from where he left off yesterday, whilst we are busy sorting some other problems outside. Let me give it to Honorable Volmarans from here. He will explain about you the process of doing public consultations, how do we interact with spheres of government, one. Two, you will take you through the summary of the bill. Three, will take you through on what then will be the procedure in terms of you contributing on the proposed amendments of the bill.
So agbare Wolmarans gaan nou vir ons oorvat, ons 'n paar goedjies wat net buite moet uitsorteer, maar hy het gister die vergadering gehardloop, so ek seker hy kan net weer optel waar hy glad gaan het gister. Hy gaan nou vir u verduidelik presies hoe ons in regeringssake wys eerste gedeelte, die tweede gedeelte die opsomming van die wetsontwerp en dan derdens gaan hy verduidelik oor hoe ons hierdie proses sal afhandel.
Thank you, Chairperson Luzipo. Good morning, good people.
Baie dankie voorsitter Luzipo, goeiemôre aan almal.
The Chairperson has already articulated why we are here as the portfolio of mineral resources and energy.
Die voorsitter het reeds aangedui oor hoekom ons as die portefeulje komitee op minerale hulpbronne en energie hier is vandag.
The biggest issue is that the department has referred a bill to us which it seeks to amend the Act of 2006 that regulates electricity.
Die belangrikste deel daarvan is dat die departement van minerale hulpbronne en energie het 'n wetsontwerp na ons toe gestuur wat wysigings wil aanbring op die wet van 2006 wat gaan oor energie of elektrisiteitsregulering.
Now, when we receive such information or such referral as a portfolio, we make the necessary arrangements to come through to the different people in all the provinces.
Wanneer ons so wysigingswetsontwerp ontvang en versoeke daarvoor, dan maak ons die nodige reëlings om die uit te gaan na spesifieke gemeenskappe toe.
Today we are finalizing the Northern Cape with your meeting.
Vandag met u vergadering sal ons besoek aan die Noord-Kaap afsluit.
We normally interact with the provincial legislature, the district municipality, and the local municipality to effect such a meeting.
Ons tree gewoonlik in verband met die provinsiale wetgewer, streeksmunisipaliteit en plaaslike munisipaliteite om hierdie proses glad te laat verloop.
So from their own departments, they have public participation teams and or administration.
Vanaf hierdie departemente het hulle eie openbare belange spanne en ook uitreikingsspanne.
They spread out the message like we also do on radio, TV, pamphlets to the ward committees, councillors and so on.
Hulle versprei dan die boodskap net soos wat ons doen op die radio en televisie en ook in die media. Nou hulle gee dit aan die wijkraadslede of wijkskomiteelede om hierdie boodskap te versprei.
And ultimately they also advise on which facility to use like the hall that we are in here.
Hulle gee ook vir ons aanduiding oor watse fasiliteit ons van gebruik kan maak, soos hierdie saal waar ons vandag is.
Now, so that they can be recognized at this juncture, I just want to check if we do have any representation from either council, legislature, being councillors and so on amongst ourselves.
Sodat ons vir hulle die gepaste erkenning kan gee, is daar enige persone van die wetgewer af, munisipaliteite af, raadslede hier teenwoordig?
In their absence at the moment, we will carry on. If they find us through, we will proceed.
So in hulle afwesigheid sal ons nou aangaan, maar as hulle later by ons aansluit, kan hulle net inval by die verrigtinge.
Coming to the issue that deals with the bill itself.
As ons nou gaan by die kwessie van die wetsontwerp.
In summary, the bill seeks to help us regulate the manner in which electricity environment is being administered.
Hierdie wetsontwerp gaan ons op kortliks help om hoe die omgewing van elektrisiteit regulering gaan help hoe ons dit gaan bestuur.
For the last couple of years, the department has been mulling about how do they approach the transformation in this electricity environment.
Die departement sit al vir 'n paar jaar en bespiegel oor hoe hulle hierdie transformasie sal laat plaasvind in die energiesektor.
Now that we are also faced with this huge problem of load shedding and how we can counter it, this bill comes in at the right time.
Hierdie wetsontwerp kom net op die regte tyd in wat ons met die massiewe probleem van beurtkrag sit en hoe ons dit sal kan bekamp.
It is the question of regulating the administration of the electricity environment.
Dit gaan oor die regulering van die administrasie van die elektrisiteitsregulering omgewing.
It also wants to regulate and see how it can be managed, how the generation, transmission and distribution of electricity is being done.
En dit gaan ook regulering verskaf vir die transmissie, opwek en ook verspreiding van elektrisiteit.
In the bill, it is also discussed how we can make sure that we expand the electricity provision within our country.
In die wetsontwerp gaan daar ook vir u aangedui word dat hoe ons elektrisiteitsverskaffing in ons land kan verbreed.
It also talks more about in the event that additional capacity is needed in as far as electricity is concerned, how do we expand the infrastructure of that electricity
Verwysing
provision?
word ook gemaak na hoe ons die infrastruktuur wat gebruik word om elektrisiteit te voorsien sal verbreed.
Currently, as we speak, Eskom is handling all those three aspects of electricity provision.
Tans is Eskom in beheer van al drie daardie aspekte van elektrisiteitsvoorsiening.
It is the thinking of the department through the bill that we should have a generating capacity or environment, a distribution capacity or environment, and also all the other factors that deal with electricity provision.
Die departement deur die wetsontwerp wil graag hê dat daar 'n skeiding moet plaasvind vir die opwekking as ook vir die verspreiding en ook ander aktiwiteite wat plaasvind onder elektrisiteitsregulering.
The other important part is the transmission part of that electricity. We must also have a vehicle that deals with such.
Ander deel daarvan is baie belangrik is die transmissie gedeelte daarvan. Ons moet 'n voertuig hê wat dit sal dryf.
In most cases, this is where the confusion comes from people who don't understand and think that the question is about privatizing Eskom.
In meeste van die gevalle is waar mense dalk nie mooi verstaan nie en dis waar hulle dink dat Eskom geprivatiseer gaan word.
That is not the case, as it is a question of just unbundling so that each and every department has its mandate.
En dit is nie die geval nie. Ons praat hierso van ontbondeling en sodat elke liewe departement sy eie mandaat kan hê.
Within the bill, it is also stated that we must have other transmission companies which are state-owned.
Daar's ook in die wetsontwerp verwysing gemaak na ander transmissiemaatskappye wat deur die staat besit sal word.
They will inevitably fall within the framework of Eskom, but they would be having boards of their own, but being state companies.
Hulle sal dan val in die raamwerk van Eskom, maar hulle sal staatsbesitte maatskappye wees.
In addition to that, the bill discusses how it must expand the environment of trading in electricity.
Verder verwys die wetsontwerp ook oor hoe handel in elektrisiteit verbreed sal word.
In that instance, the bill speaks about opening the market for competition with regard to the provision of electricity.
Die wetsontwerp maak verwys na 'n oop mark wat sal gemaak word vir die verskaffing van elektrisiteit in hierdie wetsontwerp.
So that as many other entities which might not be from government must also help in the provision of electricity when the need arises.
So dit sal beteken dat wanneer entiteite wat nie aan die regering behoort nie, elektrisiteit kan verskaf wanneer daar behoefte is daarvoor.
This will help in as far as playing around with prices so that the price determination or tariff determination is not one-sided. There are multiple players where we can compare prices and tariffs for the benefit of the country.
Vir die voordeel van die land sal daar ook 'n pryse wees wat 'n mens dan kan vergelyk. En dit ook dat ons kan 'n oop markstelsel hê om hier verskillende pryse en tariewe te kan kry.
All these entities will have to be regulated somewhere.
Al hierdie entiteite gaan op een of ander manier gereguleer moet word.
That's where NERSA, the National Electricity Regulator, comes in the bill.
Dit is waar NERSA, die Nasionale Elektrisiteit Regulerende Maatskappy van Suid-Afrika, se plek inkom.
Another misconception is that NERSA is a private company, it handles itself privately. NERSA is also part and parcel of state-owned entities.
Nog 'n wanvoorstel is dat NERSA 'n privaat maatskappy is. Nou NERSA is 'n staatsbesitte maatskappy en al die funksies en alle magte van dit val onder die staat.
It regulates tariffs so that the tariffs are in line with government policy and they are not over the moon in as far as affordability is concerned.
Hulle reguleer tariewe om seker te maak dat die tariewe nie buitensporig is nie en dat dit binne die maatstawwe sal bly.
NERSA also, when you apply to have a license to distribute or to generate electricity, that license will come from NERSA.
Wanneer mense dan aansoek doen vir die opwekking of verdeling van elektrisiteit, sal daardie lisensie van NERSA afkom.
So in the bill, we are discussing what powers should be given to NERSA, at what limits, and how they would regulate that environment.
In die wetsontwerp bespreek ons wat se magte aan NERSA gegee gaan word, wat se limite daar gaan wees op hierdie magte en hoe hierdie omgewing bewerk sal word.
Many communities are in trouble because of theft of infrastructure, specifically cables around electrical works.
Baie gemeenskappe is in die moeilikheid as gevolg van infrastruktuurdiefstal, veral as ons kyk na kabeldiefstal.
In the bill that we are discussing, sentences are being suggested on how we do or how we go around with people who are stealing this infrastructure and what punishment or fines they should be given in this bill.
In hierdie wetsontwerp word daar ook verwysing gemaak na hierdie kabeldiewe. So wat se straf hulle sal hê, hoe lank hierdie tronkstraf sal wees en ook wat se stappe mense sal geneem in die geregtigheidsstelsel.
This goes generally for not only cables but your transformers and any other infrastructure which they might sabotage, and we must know what to do if that happens.
Hierdie gaan nie net oor kabels nie, maar dit gaan oor die transformators. As mense dit saboteer, dan gaan ons weet wat presies wat om met hierdie mense doen en wat se straf van toepassing sal wees op hulle.
In the bill, the minister is also given extended powers to intervene when the time arises where intervention is needed in this environment.
Hier in die wetsontwerp word vasgevang wanneer die minister in kan gryp wanneer ingryping nodig is.
So for us to come and have a word with you is about discussing and getting your opinion about this bill that has been sent to the portfolio from the department.
So vir ons wat nou met u kom bespreek, is dit van die departement af se wetsontwerp wat aan ons gestuur is sodat ons u insaag kan kom kry.
We would like to hear what do you think about the bill, what measures, what is your idea around what is discussed in the bill.
Ons wil graag hoor wat is u gevoel oor die wetsontwerp in die maatstawwe daarin. Wat wil u hê van die wetsontwerp af?
When you make your inputs, those inputs will also be consolidated with the inputs of other people in other provinces and other districts and municipalities.
U moet ook weet, u insaag sal dan bymekaar gebring word met ander mense se insaag van ander provinsies, ander streke, ander munisipaliteite af.
So it is important to have the views of more or less all the communities that we serve.
Dit is dus belangrik vir ons om al die sieninge van al die gemeenskappe wat ons dien in te neem.
So, after your views have been considered, the committee will discuss those views back in Parliament.
Nadat u siening nou gegee word, sal die komitee in die parlement hierdie sieninge nagaan.
If everything goes well and the discussions are fine, this will go to the National Council of Provinces as well.
As alles goed verloop, dan sal hierdie verwys word na die Nasionale Raad van Provinsies.
If at the National Council of Provinces decides that they will come back to yourselves, they will do so. If not, it will go through to the President's table.
As die Nasionale Raad van Provinsies besluit dat hulle ook wil met die gemeenskappe kom praat, sal hulle so maak. As nie, of daarna, dan sal hierdie wetsontwerp gestuur word aan die tafel van die president.
After consideration, the President might say the bill is okay, then he signs it off, or it is not okay, he sends it back.
So die president nadat hy dit nagegaan het en oorweeg het, kan een van twee dinge besluit. Ja, die wetsontwerp word aanvaar, hy teken dit word 'n wet, of nee, dit moet teruggestuur word vir verdere konsultasie.
It is for that reason your inputs become important so that we can guide our discussions, and it can also make sure that we take as many inputs as possible and ideas as possible to effect the necessary changes that might be required.
Dis is dit vir ons baie belangrik om al die insaag te kry om ons te lei en sodat ons genoeg en ook deelsame insaag kan kry om te verseker dat ons almal se opinies kan hoor.
You are allowed to agree with the bill that we are coming with, and you are also allowed to disagree with the bill that you are coming with. On either side, you will just give us the reasons, but you are allowed to freely express yourself whether you agree or disagree with this bill.
U mag saam met die wetsontwerp stem of u mag nie saam met die wetsontwerp stem nie. U is vry hierso om u insaag te lewer of u nou saamstem of nie.
The committee here is not coming to coerce you to agree to the bill or not to agree to the bill. We just want your input so that when you see this bill sometime becoming an act, you must know that you have also played a role and input into such an act.
Die komitee wat hier voorsit is nie hier om die arm te dra om saam te stem met die wetsontwerp nie. Ons is hier om die insaag te kry. So wanneer u dan eendag sien dat hierdie wetsontwerp 'n wet word, sal u kan sien, maar u het deel gehad in dit.
So you might be an individual, you might be coming from an organization, an NPO, NGO, you might come from a municipality, you might come from a traditional leadership, your inputs are valued.
U is dalk 'n individu wat hier kom voorstaan in nie regeringsorganisasies, in nie winsgewende organisasie, munisipaliteit, ander organisasies, tradisionele huise, al u insaag word blank
Now, in a
opgeneem.
nutshell, that was more or less the background with regard to the bill.
So kortliks is dit die agtergrond oor hierdie wetsontwerp.
We would want to move forward in as far as our meeting here is concerned and give you the chance to speak to us.
Ons wil graag vorentoe beweeg met die vergadering, ons wil vir u die geleentheid gee om met ons te praat.
We'll be choosing from the hands that will be raised 10 names. We have 10 seats here. We'll allocate them according to the numbers as you raise your hand.
Ons gaan dan hande van die mense neem wat graag wil deelneem. As jy 'n hand opsteek, sal ons u vir 'n nommer aandui. U kan in die middel op die stoel gaan sit wat se nommer vir u gegee is.
We'll appoint you to say your say in the language of your choice.
U kan die insaag maak in die taal van u keuse.
You are not going to be intimidated by anybody.
U gaan deur niemand geïntimideer word nie.
You must also not intimidate anybody.
U moet self ook nie ander mense intimideer nie.
Be careful of your language
Wees versigtig van die taal
so that you
gebruik.
don't agitate other people unnecessarily.
So ons nie ander mense onnodig gaan beledig nie.
So we are at the point where we are prepared to take hands from yourselves
Ons is nou gereed om hande te neem van u af,
so that we can proceed with our meeting with yourselves.
sodat ons kan aangaan met die vergadering saam met u.
I don't know, are we ready for that?
Is ons gereed daarvoor?
Anybody wanting to say something with regarding to the bill can raise their hand.
Enigiemand
so
wat
that they can-
insaag? Wat lewer, asseblief steek jy hand op.
The gentleman here,
Meneer,
you are number 1.
nommer 1.
The gentleman number 2,
Nommer 2, meneer.
you can also proceed to the second seat.
Ek kan op die tweede stoel gaan sit.
Oh, number 3, Mama. Yeah, she can also come through. There is a lady there who can also come through. Number
Dame,
5.
u kan deurkom.
I think we can start.
Ek dink ons gaan begin.
Other people might get ideas when you speak. You are also looking in terms of, it is not a sizable group of people, so we have the benefit of time on our hands. You will say your name, where you come from, maybe a ward or even an organization, and you are free to have a word with us. We normally use 3 minutes as an average time for you to have a word with us. And if you have documentation that you might have written in as far as your input is concerned, you are also allowed, after you speak, to give it over to the table there on the side so that we can capture your thoughts verbatim.
Re ne re kopa gore le simolle ka gore o bue lebitso la gago, o re bolele le gore o tswa ko kae, le ko wateng e feng le gore o emetse mokgatlo o mofeng. Se seng gape se botlhokwa ke gore ne ke kopa gore ga le gore go na le dirile ditshwaelo tse le di kwetseng mo fatshe, re kopa gore le di ise mola mo tafoleng badiri ba palamente ba tlo kgona gore ba di kenya ba di kenya mo rekotong tsa rona. Le kana la bua puo engwe le engwe, ditoloki di teng ba tla thusa go lo fa.
Dumelang,
Let asseblief wel dat wanneer jy 'n spreekbeurt kry, sal die spreekbeurt vir 'n tydperk van 3 minute beperk word.
dumelang. Leina la ka ke Michael Vicent. Ke tswa ko Thuso Advice and Development Center.
Greetings, my name is Michael Deseng,
Vicent here,
or Descent. I am from Tuso Advice Center
ko Pampirsat.
in Pamperstraat,
Ko Pokwane Municipality. Ko Pokwane Municipality.
Pukwane Municipality.
Yeah. Ka bona the amendment and to me they are very welcomed. But I would like ke rata har re kana re ke bere krile act ya bogologolo gore re shebe gore the amendments di yang.
I note these amendments and they are welcome, but I would have preferred that we were provided with the copy of the act so that we can make comparison between the two as to which sections were amended.
Se ke se tubeletseng thata ke go bona these amendments di encourage competition mo Eskom.
What I appreciate most is that these amendments are going to encourage competition in the electricity provision.
No, I thank you.
Ke a leboga.
Re Michael Vicent, kutlile gore o welcome morero o ne re ka rata ge le kgona gore a na le amogela morero o kgotsa ga la o amogele.
Nna ka wa mogela ka matsogo a mabedi. Ke a leboga.
Yes, I accept. I will support the bill.
Good morning. My name is Pusho Miruti and I'm from an organization called Rise Mzansi.
Goeiedag, ek is Puso Maruti, ek is van 'n organisasie genaamd Rise Mzansi.
I am the provincial organizer.
Ek is die provinsiale organiseerder.
As much as I do welcome the bill and applaud the idea and the narrative to introduce competition,
Soveel as wat ek hierdie wetsontwerp ondersteun dat daar nou voorsiening gemaak word vir kompetisie, is daar wel 'n paar items wat ek wil noem.
I do have a few concerns that also do come to mind at the same time.
Daar is wel kommernisse wat ek graag onder die aandag wil bring.
As much as competition is healthy, but it also brings about the opportunity for people to then come together and collude and, sort of formulate a way to fix prices amongst themselves in order for them to loot our already, stressed coffers.
Soveel as wat kompetisie 'n goeie ding is, skep dit wel ook geleentheid vir mense om te konkel en die reeds leë koffers verder leeg te steel.
I also welcome the idea and the narrative to investigate and also to come up with strategies and sentences for people who do go about and steal our cables.
Ek verwelkom die idee dat mense wat kabeldiefstal pleeg wel strafoplegging kan ontvang.
However, we should also pay attention to the scrapyards that pop up on our corners, because they are also contributing factors as to why these cables actually get stolen.
Maar dan moet daar ook na skrotwerwe gekyk word wat hierdie kabeldiefstal aanmoedig aangesien hulle die kopers van hierdie kabels is.
And I'm also very saddened to see the house as empty as it is. I do see that there are a few people who are also entering.
Dis my hartseer om te sien hoe leeg die saal is. Ek sien daar is mense wat bykom, maar is nogal baie eil in die saal.
Because it is a well-known secret that the Northern Cape, Kimberley to be precise, is one of the municipalities which, where electricity rates are one of the highest.
Want dit is wel onbekend, of al onbekend, dis geheim, maar al onbekend, dat die municipaliteit van Kimberley baie hoë elektrisiteitstariewe heeft.
And also, I did take note of the letter speaker to Mr. Volmerans, that he did make mention that they did notify the municipalities who in then had the onus to inform the community about this gathering over here.
Meneer Wolmerans het wel ook genoem dat die municipaliteite ingelig is van hierdie vergaderinge en om die inligting te versprei aan die gemeenskappe.
And also there was made mention that the availability or the accessibility rather to technology basically is not freely available to everybody. So therefore, how this was communicated and relayed to the public is also a way or a reason why this house finds itself as empty as it is now.
Daar's ook noemens gemaak van die tegnologie en die toegang tot tegnologie wat nie oral beskikbaar is nie. En dit mag dalk 'n invloed hê op hoe inligting versprei is tot mense wat moet weet van hierdie vergadering wat plaasvind.
I'm also not surprised not to see our esteemed mayor not present at this moment, neither our premier, Dr. Zamani Zol, because I do know that they are campaigning and not campaigning basically, but canvassing in order to get people to go to the AR Bus Stadium, which I know there is a budget allocated for that.
Dan sien ek die burgemeester en die premier skitter in hulle afwesigheid waar hulle besig is om mense te werf om na 'n ander stadium te gaan waarvoor daar begroot is.
Like I said, I do welcome the bill, and I'd like to pause there because, as Mr. Volmerans did caution us not to mention things that will or might potentially agitate others. So I'd like to take this opportunity to step down.
Ek gebruik nou hierdie geleentheid om terug te staan, want meneer Wolmerans het ons ook gewaarsku om nie dinge te noem wat dalk ander lede in die gemeenskap kan ontstel nie.
Thank you very much for the
Baie
opportunity.
dankie. Lekker dag vir u verder.
Bamba ti matumbo ndumba ti ikuna kliye ko marita ti platform den kiteko.
I am greeting you all. My name is Matumbo Ndumba. Everybody call me Mari. My surname is Ndumba and I'm from Platfontein.
Tik ti ina kwije ti koma ti ina ti ta khaw sakya ti khaw khona kaiji ki tese ti tsusa kyen kala ko ngui ina tsaka taw jingam ku khoti tsaka khoya ka oti boris ti kyen taw ku tamaga.
I'm so happy to be present today, standing in front of you, and I would like to share my view of point of what I have brought today.
Kona te platform den ai ki te tsusa glo ko ti kra ga ho te tsao ko te o khuriete te tsona te kana te tia or platform den ki te khona khuriete.
My cry is about the load shedding. We are requesting the parliament to do something about the load shedding. Because more houses in Platfontein doesn't have electricity, and because of that, people are making connections, illegal connections, and that is not safe for our children. Our children are dying.
Ata te tsao ko o te kwana tungu jiki hambe atwasi tita ngati kona hambe kwana ki tsakanya ta go hets eri na go ntsedi go tama te tsusa to khao te garaka te platform ki hets eri na go qa ni no kuri o tsa tsa qonta tsa het eri na go tsogo tsa se nqego go tsogo tsa se tsa se le se hambe kwana ke ja go te tswa kwana ke ta go ana tsa o tsona tsa da to tsara go a ke no hambe to tlhaos ra wo.
Like I was referring earlier, I'm requesting the parliament or the government to do something about load shedding because it is giving too much problem in our community member. Like us, for instance, we are unemployed. If you have buy groceries with the money, the last money that you have, and you are cooking, while you are busy cooking, the electricity goes off and on, and now you have lost that groceries of you, and that's the biggest problem that we are facing in Platfontein.
An go ke re go ta tsama se wa tsa go ga tsa go je kano tsa gago hambe tsa wo te go a ke re ditekete go ta go a tsa go kwesta ata ga te tsa go te nguji ke hambe ke ni tsona te na te tie tswa te te kan ta te a ke re ka kwa te go hambe te go tsama te man to bori he te tseusa ke ntore te to ke esa to ke te esa to te a khauta a te ke rijia.
The biggest problem is we also have young people that are going around the houses when it is dark during load shedding, and they are breaking into the people's houses, stealing people's stuff, and also the illegal connections we are doing in Platfontein. We are losing our children, like I said earlier. We are losing our children, and we are not getting something out of that, and that's also sad.
A tik ga to tinguye go kgele to tsa ka qao to ngam go kweto ti mo ka to te qao to te a qao te wo o hambe qao ka to te a nge ja mo ga kona te qao ka te.
That is my cry, and I thank you for coming today, and I am supporting the bill that you have brought today. Thank you.
Man ngaba ke gqonqa ko mikolo Linda Alfredo makigia Platfontein.
I'm greeting everyone, and my name is Lolinda Alfredo, and I'm also from Platfontein.
Ma joy ka machiko ngwa igang.
I'm greeting everyone that is here.
Min hola magitri che igang karahawa. Karaha chokhishi kula karaha.
The problem that I'm bringing up here is the electricity problem that we have in Platfontein. Most of the houses are there that doesn't have electricity.
Kama yanda ya wa da gusundani wa mege problema.
When it's load shedding, when people go to bush to collect some wood, there are people that are also beating the people and fighting them.
Mangrita vatage masumi ngigia michoga mwita giada tamakha khome fi unkha tisaya unkha gwagunda ge kraha unkha kunda kama siami
When it's load shedding, they actually use the legal wire to the neighbors to put in there to cook food for the children and the family member to eat.
I
never knew this will take somebody's life because of the hunger. I'm greeting you and I'm happy. And this is my ending.
So I introduce myself first. Yes. Good morning.
Goeiemôre.
My name is Tlotlo Lobelo and I'm from the African National Congress.
My naam is Tlotlo Lebelo, ek is van die ANC.
The Electricity Regulation Amendment Bill is an urgent piece of legislation that is central to the joint efforts of both business and government to solving our current electrical crisis.
Hierdie elektrisiteitswysigingswetsontwerp is kern tot ons plaaslike en munisipale regerings en ons nasionale regerings se pogings om hierdie elektrisiteitskrisis aan te spreek.
At the core of this bill is a desire to create competitive markets. At the core of this bill is the desire to create competitive markets, and this will ensure access by all to the transmission and distribution of electricity as well.
Die kern van hierdie wetsontwerp is om elektrisiteitsverspreiding toeganklik te maak tot almal en dit te reguleer.
I feel that that transformation of South Africa's electricity sector is long overdue, and in this regard, the amendments of the Electricity Act are vital.
Ek voel dat die transformasie van die elektrisiteitsverdelingsstelsel lankal hersien moes word en dat hierdie kern sal wees tot die verdeling van elektrisiteit en toegang van elektrisiteit tot almal moontlik sal maak.
So we welcome the reforms to end the energy crisis once and for all, as electricity is a basic human need as enshrined in our constitution.
Soos in die grondwet van ons land opgevat is elektrisiteit 'n basiese mensereg en hierdie wetsontwerp sal dit moontlik maak vir almal om toegang daartoe te hê. Baie dankie.
Yeah, I was just a little bit obscured. I did not see that we had run out of the participants, but let me thank first the participants who broke the ice.
Eerstens wil ek die deelnemers bedank wat die ys vir ons gebreek het.
I'm going to identify some more participants, and I see the gentleman has already raised his hand at the back there. He'll be the first.
Ek sal nog geleentheid gee vir nog deelnemers. Ek
And
sien
you are
ons
more
meneer
than
agter wat
welcome to raise your hand so that you can be noted. I note that there's a second hand. The first hand at the back.
Hier staan daar agter.
The second, the gentleman in the black cap. And
Tweedens,
there was another one with a cap as well. Yeah, at the back.
ons
Number
man met
3.
swart hoed en nog 'n meneer met 'n hoed.
Then number 4, Ceci. Okay, she can proceed. In black. Whilst the lady is coming through, the lady can approach the mic. Nolinda, yes, wanted to. You're welcome.
Thank you. Sorry kameng nga kraha nga fiwa. Mageng nga ke mi bakhanisi kha chogesang ka qhishi kula kraha.
Sorry for the electricity problem that I was saying that happened in Platfontein, but most of the houses in Platfontein doesn't have electricity.
Taga nga ka masata ba gonta kha ka mi nebang khon kraha fiu kha ma.
So when I don't have, when it's load shedding, I actually go to my neighbors and put a wire there so that I can cook. I know it's illegal. So because I'm hungry, I actually put that wire there so that I can cook food for my family to eat. But I never know that this could cause more problem in Platfontein. Because of the suffering, that's why we have this problem in Platfontein. Lots of kids are dying. I do not accept this bill.
Sorry.
That's my standing back.
Thank you. Do we have some more hands?
Het ons nog hande?
You can come through, sir.
Meneer kan deurkom.
There's another hand.
Ons nog 'n hand.
Is that not the gentleman who spoke before?
Daardie man nie voorheen gepraat nie.
Or I would request him to be last because he had already had a chance.
Ek sal vra dat hy laaste praat want hy het al reeds 'n kans gehad.
No, he can go on the line. All right, but you can proceed, sir.
Good morning, Chairperson. Thank you for your time that you came to speak with us, all the delegates. We appreciate your time and your assistance in this matter. My name is Ron van Sail, and I live in Kimberley.
Goeiedag voorsitter, baie dankie vir u teenwoordigheid hier en ook vir die komitee en die afvaardiging wat vandag hier is om oor hierdie baie belangrike saak te praat. Ek is Rohan van Sail en ek woon in Kimberley.
Chairperson, I would just like some clarity. When you spoke earlier, you said that the privatizing concept of this process will be government, there will be government agencies part of this process. Will that be still government owned? And if that's so, which government parts will be part of this process? Will businesses be part? Will they have a say? Will business chambers be part? Will they have a say? Because that will determine also how the regulation of pricing will be done.
Voorzitter, u het genoem dat die privatisering van elektrisiteitsvoorsieners ook gereguleer sal word. Ek wil weet, sal dit gereguleer word deur net 'n staatsbesitte entiteit of sal daar of plek gemaak word vir sakekamers en privaat entiteite om ook deel te wees van hierdie reguleringsproses, want dit gaan ook 'n impak hê in hoe pryse gereguleer word deur hierdie geprivatiseerde verskaffers.
Dankie.
Thank you.
My name is Lebogang and I'm a member from Makua.
I
would like to take this opportunity to greet the leadership, including everybody else that came through. Let the power be with the people.
Jaka ke le member a Makua ke na le gone tetla nka be ke na lone go ra batho ba ke na le bone ke ba ra ke re ba tsene mo meeting o.
As the member of Makua, I wish and I hope I had the powers to say more or much to the people that came through today.
Mariano ka re ke na le nako nyane e khutshane ke notice tšo mo nako e khutshane gore be ke attendile meeting o.
But because the time I've been afforded before you, Chairperson, it's so little, I'm afraid I won't say much.
Ga gone go ntse yalo nka be kile ka itsise le batho botlhe ba leng gore ke a ba itse ba leng di members tsa Makua o ka bo bona ba tletse ka holo e ka ma ka tselentseng jalo gore batho ba bantsi ga ba itse sepe ka meeting o.
Had I had more information before I present myself before you, I would have invited my fellow colleagues from Makua, including everybody else that I know within the community, to come and support this gathering today.
Ya no mo gonna go bala amendment the regulation amendment bullets di kana kana go jaanong jaanong ga nkitla ke kgona go tlhaloganya sepe.
For me, it's unfortunate that I won't be able to read through the document that you're presenting before me. I will not understand anything or any content written on this document.
Jaanong ka bokhutsanyane ga go ne go ka nna motlhomongwe le nako e tla dirwang gore motho o kgone go tsamaya through ka dilo tse o bone go ka diragalang ka tsone tsa amendment ya bill e nke ka bua sengwe se se botoka.
I hope and I trust that perhaps in the future you will see to it that you inform us in time, and maybe then I will participate thoroughly and submit my submissions to the fullest.
Yaanong ka bokhutshwane jo bokalo leadership le botlhe ba ba teng ka holong ena ke re ga ke dumane le sepe se se kwadilweng a.
On that note, Chairperson, to yourself, including everybody that came through, myself, Olebogeng, I do not agree with anything and everything that is written on this bill.
Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to give me this opportunity to say something in front of these people.
Baie dankie vir hierdie geleentheid om iets te sê oor hierdie wetsontwerp aan hierdie mense hier voor my.
My name is David November from Khaleshewe, location Greater Number 2.
My naam is David November van Galeshwe lokasie.
Yeah, today I'm here because of the community that sent me to come here, give me the mandate.
Ek is vandag hier namens die gemeenskap wat my gestuur het.
Okay, the mandate from the community. Yeah, the community was suffering because of electricity.
Hulle kry swaar as gevolg van elektrisiteit.
The community said the electricity at Northern Cape, I don't know, it's only Northern Cape, is too high. The unit, the money of electricity is too high in Northern Cape.
Hulle kla dat die koste van elektrisiteit in die Noord-Kaap te duur is, dat die koste per eenheid te hoog is.
They mentioned that they asked the parliament to monitor this issue that they are raising about electricity.
Daar is gevra dat hierdie kwessie wat geopper is oor elektrisiteit gemonitor sal word.
Because we don't know, it's only Northern Cape that electricity is too high, or it's all the province of the country.
Ons is nie seker of dit net in die Noord-Kaap is waar die prys per eenheid vir elektrisiteit so hoog is nie, en of dit 'n kwessie is wat reg oor die land plaasvind.
Because of the community complain about if they don't pay rent, the electricity is being cut.
Hulle het gekla dat mense hier vir elektrisiteit betaal nie word dan gesny.
But when the government make a load sharing, it don't ask the people, it just make it in the country.
Maar wanneer die regering beurtkrag in plek stel, word die gemeenskap nie in ag geneem nie. Hulle vra nie vir die gemeenskap nie, hulle doen dit net.
Now the problem of the electricity is too high in Northern Cape. The people complaining always about the high rate of the money that they are paying at electricity.
Mense kla werklik oor die hoë tarief per eenheid vir elektrisiteit.
Because I'm not so perfect, but I try, I was sent about the community because I'm a community leader.
Ek is 'n gemeenskapsleier en ek verteenwoordig die gemeenskap wat my gestuur het om hulle te verteenwoordig.
I'm just asking for the parliament. I'm happy to see the parliament is here today.
Ek wil ook in die parlement sê ek is baie bly om te sien dat hulle hier is vandag.
To hear our problems, frustrations in our areas.
Om te hoor wat die probleme en frustrasies is wat ons in ons areas ervaar.
Okay, and I thank you.
Baie dankie.
Do you support or don't support the bill read, David?
Meneer David, do you support, ondersteun jy die wetsontwerp of nie? Do you support the bill or not? Do you support the bill or do you not support the bill?
Okay, sorry, I have a problem with the hearing. That's it. Okay, ciao.
We were checking whether you support the bill or you don't support the bill.
I support it.
Ek ondersteun die wetsontwerp.
Okay, it's fine, it's fine.
Dankie.
May I request that you are allowed to use the language that you are comfortable with, and then we will try as much as possible to interpret so that you don't get into unnecessary problems.
Ek wil u aanmoedig om die taal te gebruik waarmee u gemaklik is en dan sal ons probeer om dit ook te tolk dat daar nie enige probleme is nie.
Timbamba de yom kaha.
I greet you all.
Timtwenma Rebecca Kapunda.
I'm Rebecca Kapunda.
Nutikwisa nkihwete sendi anisihwe.
I will talk about the problem we are facing in Platfontein about the informal settlement where I'm staying.
Tinkikwisa ndikwisa kraga jigdo jite akuriak anahimara kraga ate wobe asendi anjate teko tama.
I will talk about the problem we are facing about the electricity. We have been living in Platfontein for so long time.
No atete tonzaga atau kuji kwana sikachakra hadikdo an andas no eska siahinko to oisa obeta.
And we are also facing the problem where we are making illegal connection because there are no electricity at the informal settlement where I'm staying in Platfontein. And because of that, why we are doing that is because we have to cook for our children to eat.
Akwana kanga akwana kraka sigdo wikata akdo wakota tau awokomki takota koneketa an aisikano tsanhwe ahodzi.
And there are also people that are stealing our cable which we are making connections with.
Aqawdi tek eyang anahikiteka awobe ngukawa kite anja sendinza teko.
We are living at the informal settlement in Platfontein, a place which is very dark. We don't have any electricity that side.
Aheti kui heti ha tek ha voti komi a voti edi ya tuwa hunusinu mi to wago mar ahodzi hambe hisenbe.
Many parties are coming during election times, giving us hope. They are coming with empty promises, telling us that they will give us electricity, but nothing is happening.
Tikuya tinti danki ni khaliente ti ina tiki khara. Mtsam ti wo ha ina ndeta ka khari kan karangui ti anata venti di kama ti wa gumara. Chanima ina ate yakarata ina tindeta ai kwa kote mtsam ti wo.
I thank you all for coming to this place that I got this opportunity to share with you what we are facing in the place where I am staying, and I'm supporting the bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon to the Portfolio Committee. My name is Kuriso Nesengan. My name is Kuriso Nesengan. Kuriso Nesengan. Okay, thank you. I come from an organization called Business Unity South Africa. Let me start off by saying that we do agree with the amendment. We just need the Portfolio Committee to take into consideration the following submissions.
gore ya ka committee ya e tlhomilweng ya parlamente gore e tle go reetsa ditshwaelo tsa rona.
The first one being Section 21, providing the powers and duties of the licensee.
Ntho ya ntlha e ke batlang go bua ka yona ke kgaolo 21 mo go buang teng ka melawana ya go kry-a di-license.
We have taken notice that this section was included in the 2022 Amendment Bill, but it was excluded in the 2023 Amendment Bill.
Rona re tlhokometse gore memetlelelo e yona e ne e le teng mo billing e ya 2022 e fela ga ba e kenya mo di memetlelo tse di rilweng ka 2023.
We kindly propose that it needs to be reinstated in the 2023 Amendment Bill.
Rona ge tlhagiso ya rona ko gore re kopa gore e tsentshwe mo di memetlelong tse di rilweng kapa mo molaotheong o wa di memetlelo wa 2023.
The reason being that this would reduce the red tape.
Lebaka e le gore se tla tlosa dikgwetlho tsa gore re kgone gore re tsenye dikopo.
It is further submitted that the word network needs to be included into the definitions of the Amendment Bill.
Gape ne re kopa gore go nne le tlhaloso ya network mo go buang ka di memetlelelo tse leng teng tsa molaotlhomo o.
The second submission is in regard to Section 34 of the Amendment Bill.
Ntlha bobedi ke mabapi le kgaolo 34 ya molaotlhomo o.
We've taken notice that there's few changes in regard to the Section 34, but we do have submissions that there are changes that warrants attention in this section.
Re tlhokometse ge gore go na le diphetogo tse le gore di memetlelelo tse le gore di dirilwe mo kgaolo 34 e fela le rona ge go na le dintlha tse le gore ne re ka rata go tshwaela mo go tsona mo kgaolong e ya 34.
The first change is the role of the transmission system operator, which is also referred to as TSO.
Ntlha engwe ke ntlha ya di thata tsa TSO transmission operator gore re tlise ditshwaelo tse ka tiro tsa bona.
The role of the TSO was amended in the 2022 Amendment Bill as well as the 2023 Amendment Bill, but the functions differ.
Gore di tiro tseo di le di a kentshwa mo go di memetlelelo tseo tsa 2023 le tsa 2022 e fela di tiro tseo ga di a tlhaloswa ka go tshwana mo di memetlelelong tseo.
Multiple functions such as transmission expansion plan as well as forecasting are some of the functions that differ from both amendment bills.
Di tirelo tseo tsa gore go lebelele taba e ya go phatlhalatswa kapa go neelana ka motlakase ke engwe ya dintlha tse ke boneng gore ga e tshwane le di memetlelelo tse ne di dirilwe pele.
As business unity, we would like some clarification on the reason behind deletion of these functions.
Ya ka business unity South Africa rona re rata gore re kope tlhaloso mabapi le go kenyeletswa ga tiro tseo.
Another clarity is who is going to perform the functions that were deleted on the amendment bill.
Ntlha engwe e re sa tlhaloganyeng re kopa tlhaloso mo go yona gore ke mang o tlo go dirang ditiro tse ile gore di tlositswe mo di memetlelelong tse ile gore ne di dirilwe go molaotlhomo o.
Another submission that we have with reference to Section 34 is the deletion of Section 32 subsection 2.
Engwe gape e re tlhokometseng gona mo 34 go gore go tlositswe kgaolwana 32 subsection 2.
The amendment bill gave the minister several powers.
Di memetlelo kgotsa molaotlhomo o re bonang ka re o neya letona di thata tse dintsi thata.
So I won't go into detail of the powers that were provided under this section, but would like clarity on why this section was deleted in the 2023 amendment bill.
Nka se tlhalose thata ge ka dintlha tseo mo molaong o e fela ke batla go kopa go botsa gore ke ka ntlha ya eng e le gore go ntshitswe ditiro tse dintse e le gore ne ntse di kentswe mo di memetlelelong tseo.
And with regard to these powers, who's going to perform them throughout the amendment bill?
mabapi le dithata tseo ke kopa go itse gore ke mang o tlo go newang dithata tseo go ya ka molaotlhomo o.
I'll stop there. Thank you.
Ke feletsa gona mo ke a leboga.
Hello.
Oh, I was just saying by now you know the drill.
I think I do.
Yeah, so you'll pass by Me Ayanda that side.
I'll send the soft copy. Thank you.
Mevrou kan asseblief na die tafel toe gaan om die goed in te dien. Baie dankie.
Thank you.
Baie dankie.
So my name is Godani Chikota. I'm from the legal department at Makua Wamua Advisor Office.
My naam is Jikani Chakota en ek is van die regsdepartement af van Wamua af. Niks sonder or nothing about us without us, niks sonder ons.
I think we can firstly just appreciate the fact that the attendance today is very, very poor. This is not a clear indication of the communities in Kimberley and the surrounding communities.
Eerstens wil ons verwysing maak na die swak bywoning van vandag. Hierdie is duidelik nie 'n verteenwoordiging van Kimberley of die omliggende areas nie.
We have also noted how the portfolio committee, which has always preached that they are neutral in these public hearings and that they do not want people to accept or reject the bill, have for countless times tried to sway people into accepting the bill, even though they're doing it tacitly so.
Soos vir die hierdie komitee nog heeltyd sê dat hulle nie mense wil swai na een kant toe of hulle aanvaar of nie. Is dit nog steeds vir ons baie duidelik wat hulle hier doen en sê presies dit is.
In that sense, I'll give an example. For example, throughout in all the public hearings, when they are giving the summary of the bill, they only focus on the positive side of the bill. They know very well that there is a negative side of the bill, but they never touch on it.
Soos byvoorbeeld wanneer hulle gaan met die opsomming van die wetsontwerp, fokus hulle slegs op die positiewe kant van die wetsontwerp, maar hulle weet dat daar 'n negatiewe kant is van hierdie wetsontwerp wat hulle nie noem nie.
And in almost all these public hearings, we had people who did not even know what was happening in these public hearings. So they were making representations based on the summary that was given by the portfolio committee. So which meant they gave representations based on a one-sided summary of positive things only.
Die probleem wat ons ervaar in hierdie vergaderings is dat die mense wat hierso insaak kom lewer, die insaak lewer slegs gebaseer op die opsomming van die wetsontwerp. Hierdie mense het geen idee wat verder in die wetsontwerp aangaan nie. So dis 'n eenparige opsomming wat gemaak is wat die mense eers enigstens op kommentaar lewer.
We have always noted and been following the press statements from the portfolio committee, and in almost all of their press statements, what they are saying is people accept the bill, people support the bill. They're only focusing on the positive sides of the public hearings. They never touch on the poor attendance. They never touch on the issue of venues But these are things that they come to the public hearings and agree to say that we understand that we might have fallen short in this area because we are working with the local department and the provincial department to organize and to disseminate information. But in their press statements, they never mention that to say, okay, we accept that we might have fallen short here because we are not working alone. They only focus on the positive, creating a narrative that these public hearings are going very well.
Ons volg deeglik die persverklaringe wat deur die komitee gemaak word. Elke liewe persverklaring het ons al nagegaan en ons sien daar word net positief verwys na hierdie vergaderings van die mense se deelname en bywoning. Maar dit is baie duidelik vir ons wat al by hierdie vergaderings was dat dit nie die geval is nie. Die mense word nie verteenwoordig hierson nie, maar die persverklaringe is weer eens eenparig en dan maak dit moeilik vir die gemeenskap om te weet wat dit is of nie. So dis hierdie persverklaringe gee vir ons 'n duidelike beeld van wat werklik in hierdie vergaderings aangaan nie. Hulle maak net verwysing na die positiwiteit en dit laat mens dink dat hierdie vergaderings 'n sukses is.
When we speak about people, when we read a statement saying people in Northwest, people in Mpumalanga, people in Northern Cape accept the bill, we ask ourselves a question, and the question is, what criteria do the portfolio committee use to confirm that the majority of the people accept the bill? Because we have never attended a hearing where more than 50 people spoke while the hall was full. And also, what if someone comes and just say, I accept the bill because it's going to make sure that it ends load shedding? Or if someone comes and says they accept the bill or reject the bill and the reasoning does not correlate with what the bill says, does that qualify as accepting or rejecting?
Ons wil graag weet dat wanneer mense hier na hierdie vergaderings toe kom, wat is die kriteria wat u dan gebruik maak om te sê dat die mense werklik hierdie wetsontwerp aanvaar of saamstem by? Want ons was al by verskeie van hierdie vergaderings wat nie meer as 50 mense gepraat het nie, waar u dan sê dat dit aanvaar word, dat dit saamgestem word. Ons wil weet, al is die saal vol, wat is die maatstaf wat u gebruik om seker te maak dat hierdie wetsontwerp aanvaar word of nie?
This electricity regulation amendment bill calls for a reasonable return commensurate with the risk of the licensed activity to be incorporated into tariffs.
Ons word verwys na hierdie wysigingswetsontwerp wat praat oor die risiko van hierdie tariewe wat dan ingesluit sal word met hierdie lisensiering.
As Makua, we reject the central premise of this bill, which seeks to protect profit for private companies while excluding and further marginalizing the black and poor people of South Africa who are unemployed, who depend on social grants, who are not going to be able to afford this electricity, as we all know that the electricity is going to hike, tariffs are going to be very expensive, thus excluding the poor and the black people of South Africa.
As moet toe verwerp ons die sentrale idee van hierdie wetsontwerp wat die arm en swart gemarginaliseerde mense, die mense wat in armoede lewe, wat ly hieronder, net verder sal aftrek, en wat net die rykes sal verbeter. Ons verwerp dit op daardie basis.
South Africa is currently at a phase where there is also energy poverty, especially in rural areas where we find people without electricity on a daily basis. We find women who are using fires to cook outside, which impacts on their health. We have women in South Africa who depend on catering, who depend on saloons, who depend on laundry businesses. This bill does not speak anything about gender impact assessment on how they are going to mitigate the impact of this privatization on women and their livelihoods.
Weer eens ervaar Suid-Afrika energiearmoede. Ons het vrouens wat buite op vure kook, wat hulle gesondheid impak. Ons het vrouens wat afhanklik is van maatskappye of besighede wat van krag gebruik maak. Daar is geen geslagsimpakstudie wat gedoen word om te kyk hoe hierdie werklike impak sal hê op hierdie vrouens nie.
Lastly, we would like to request the portfolio committee to be neutral, as they always claim to be, to make press statements that show the real situation on the ground. If there aren't people, for example, there aren't people today, this hall is less than 70 people, and it can't be a clear representation of the community of Kimberley and surrounding communities. Please don't suppress me.
I'm going to stop you because you are now interrogating our integrity and you are lying in front of people. There are more than 70 people here. We accept what you are saying, but I'm going to stop you because you are making a lot of political insinuations where it is not required. With respect us. You have started with your preamble. The points that you have said about the bill, you came at the last 3, 4, 5 sentences, but you are not fair to the community here, you are not fair to us, you are not fair to yourself. And I would like you, as you conclude, to conclude, but don't lie and say there were no people.
Ons wil meneer vra asseblief nie hier ons integriteit oor te praat nie. Jy is meer as 70 mense in hierdie saal, ons vra nie ons of die mense wat hier is beledig nie. Jy is besig om politiese stellings te maak. Ons het die insaag gehoor oor die wetsontwerp, so ons vra dat asseblief sal afsluit.
Okay, as I close, I see I'm being suppressed, but it's okay. So obviously, when I said 70, doesn't mean that we are counting 1, 2, 3.
No, that's what you said, Chief. I think you are trying our patience, and you are doing this very often. And you are following us, the whole country, and making such insinuations. Now, I'm saying, in your own words, you said in front of the TV, there are not more than 70 people here. Now, I might not know mathematics, but I see more than 70 people. So, speak to the bill. We want to hear your inputs, and you want to say you are asking us to make this and that. We want to hear the views. Don't try to interrogate us. If you want to come and have a word with us on how we do things, you must come. But here we are here for the bill.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm already suppressed, so let me just say that so the truth is, the people who are not here are not a clear indication or a clear representation of the community, and that's it. Whether they are 70, 71, 72, it doesn't matter. And I'm not interrogating anyone, I'm speaking to the bill. This is what the bill says, which is the negative aspects of the bill, which you do not want to entertain. So you in turn want to suppress me, I will not be suppressed, and I'm still going to follow you all around the country and make the same representations, because this is public consultation for the public, and I am the public. We reject this bill.
Ek verwerp hierdie wetsontwerp gebaseer op die feit dat dit maak nie saak of jy 70, 71, 72 mense in hierdie saal sit nie. Dit is nie 'n regverdige verteenwoordiging van die mense van die gemeenskappe nie. Ek gaan voortgaan om hierdie reg deur die land te volg, want hierdie is nie die waarheid van die wetsontwerp nie en ons verwerp dit.
Thank you very much. Good morning, each and everyone.
Baie dankie, goeiemôre almal.
Maybe before you
Good morning.
come, I want to make a very bold request to Makua Amua
Ek wil graag aan Makua Mamoya net asseblief 'n versoek rig.
that at the end, when the chairperson responds to you, you are here. Because you have made it a tendency that you make submissions and when you are done, you leave. Please stay today so that you can be responded to factually.
Matua Mamoa, ons wil u vra asseblief wanneer die voorsitter klaar is om af te sluit, ons vra dat u asseblief hier sal bly in die saal dat ons vir u feitelike inligting kan gee. So bly asseblief na die vergadering.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me, and I welcome you all. I'm Veronica Williams from Ward 21.
My naam is Veronica Williams van wijk 21. Ek bedank u almal dat u my 'n kans gegee het om te praat.
Ward Secretary of the Ward Committee.
Wijksekretaris van die wijkskomitee.
Chairperson of the ward also.
Voorsitter ook van die wijk.
And representing the ward, not the ward, representing the Patriotic Alliance.
En ek verantwoordig die Patriotiese Alliansie.
And also the Vice Chair Lady of the Women's League of the Patriotic Alliance.
Ook die visievoorsitter van die Vrouwenliga van die Patriotiese Alliansie.
Thank you, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, my first question is, I want to ask the board, does the bill allow the shops like ShopRite, Checkers, wherever you buy electricity? If you instance buy for R1,000.
So ek wil net graag vir u vra. My eerste vraag is ek gaan verwyse maak na die winkels waar mense elektrisiteit koop, so ShopRite of Checkers. Wanneer mense so, kom ons sê R1,000 se elektrisiteit koop,
do you get the same amount? Because I've got a summary here of a pensioner that only receives R2,081 per month.
Want ek het 'n opsomming hierso van 'n pensionaris wat net R2,081 'n maand verdien.
If she buys from Checkers R1,000 electricity,
as sy R1,000 se elektrisiteit by Checkers koop,
then she only gets 233 units.
Dan kry sy 233 eenhede.
She buys from Checkers, from ShopRite, R800.
Sy koop R800 by ShopRite.
And then she gets 59.20 units.
Dan kry sy 59.20 eenhede.
Now, how does that, how can I say, rectify the regulation of the electricity?
Hoe bewerkstellig dit nou die regulasie van elektrisiteit?
If I can just have that questions, and that I want that to be amended also, please, to the bill. Because I want to put my input today, according to what I've seen in my ward. I've seen very poorness in my ward. The people are struggling in my ward, especially the pensioners.
Ek wil graag vra dat ons asseblief dit deel maak van die wetsontwerp, want in my wijk het ons mense wat baie arm is. Ons het arm pensionarisse wat in my wijk is.
Thank you very much for allowing me and have a good day. Thank you very
Baie
much.
dankie dat
Bye-bye.
jy my toegelaat het en ek jy 'n lekker dag hê. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much for your inputs. I think some of the issues that are pertinently raised, those that are within, given an explanation, will do so. But let me allow the last round, and I start with the gentleman who was going to be last, the gentleman in glasses. And then you can raise your hands. I'm going to take 3 to 5 people as we close.
Soos wat ons nou gaan amper afsluit, gaan ons die laaste ronde vat om pertinente kwessies wat van toepassing is
You can come through, Ceci.
op te beantwoord. Meneer, u kan deurkom. Ons gaan so tussen 3 en 5 mense.
Last round, to be cognizant of time so that you don't go beyond 2 minutes in your submission. We have already said if you've got something written, you can also take it across to the table that will document what you have raised. You are welcome.
Lina laka ke Michael Bisent once more
Lina laka ke Michael, my name is Michael
from Pampirstad.
From Pampirstad.
Yeah. My comment is in the amendment of section 4,
Tshwaelo ya ka ke mo mametlelelong a lekala la section 4,
3.5.3.
3.5.3.
E buang ka the regulator ba enilwe the mandate to regulate the prices.
E buileng follow
And tariffs.
e bua ka di thata tsa go fetola di tlhwatlhwa.
My plea is, whilst by regulated the prices, they must bear in mind about the unemployment rate about
Yaanong e bua yala ka gore mametlelelo a go tsamaisa di tlhwatlhwa ba tshwantse ba be mo mogopolong botlhoka tiro.
by direlo in consensus le the census tse re di holdile recently.
Jaanong diphetogo tseo di tshwantse di tsamaisane le di census tse ne ntse re buisana le tsone mo malobeng.
Because batho ba bantsi ha ba sebetse, but
A lot of people are unemployed.
that's why batho ba di zamazama di re motlakase di
That is why you see
ba commit a crime.
that is why you see a high number of crime cases,
Is
so-called zamazamas.
Yeah, ke the last resort ya batho ba sa sebetse to get electricity.
Ke ha batho ba setse ba itlhobogile, that's what they opt for, to have access to electricity.
I thank you.
Ke leboga
But
go menagana.
I still support the
Ke
amendment.
santse ke tsamaisana le molaotlhomo ke a o amogela. Sesotho ngwaneso, ga ke itse Sesotho nna kana. O se ka bonya ke kgona go utlwa sentle. Sure, man.
Okay. Ke rata ho dumedisa le ho leboha
I would like to take this opportunity to greet and thank you,
baetapele le batho bohle ba itlileng ba iketsetsa nako ho tla
especially
mona.
to you, the leadership, and including those people that saw the need to come forth.
La ka lebitso ke re Thabile Moloi, ke dula hona mona Kimberley. Ke tswa organizationeng e bitswang Rise Mzansi.
My name is Thabile Moloi, residing here in Kimberley from the organization called Rise Mzansi.
Ba ka bothata be ke emeng ka bona hona monana ke taba ya hore motlakase mona na Kimberley wa nyoloha.
The only challenge that I have today is the increment of the electricity, particularly here in Kimberley.
Le di units tsa teng di nyane ha di kgone hore qhoba kgwedi kaofela.
Especially the units that we purchase, they cannot sustain us even for a month.
But hona mona ba bitswa hore ke di zamazama ba qetelletse ba yentse bongwere le bogodu ba hore ba connecte metlakase hore ba kgone ho pheha metseng ya bona.
There's so well-known syndicates called the Zamazamas. They are still continuing to loot our cables and with illegal connections, and therefore, as a result, that's why we're struggling as the community of Kimberley.
Ha re tlonka seriti re sheba se etsahalang hona monana. Dikgwebo tse ngata di wele di wiswa ke hore metlakase ha e reliable, batho ba experience load shedding.
Chairperson, a lot of small businesses here in Kimberley cannot be sustained as a result of electricity, because if the power is not there, therefore people cannot sustain their own small businesses, and obviously this is because of the corruption that is caused by the Zamazamas.
Jwalo ka ha ke le mokgutshwane ka seemo le ka puo ke mokgutshwane ke a leboha.
Chairperson, I already look as short as I already look, therefore I'll be as short as my height. With those words, I thank you so much.
Ke lebohile.
Thank you very much.
O ke supporta bill ke a leboha.
Ke tsamaisana le bill. Thank you very much. I support the bill.
Good morning, everybody that's in the city hall,
Goeiemôre aan almal hier in die stadsaal
and all the members of the ball from Parliament.
en al die lede wat deel is van die wetsontwerp van 'n parlement.
I think we must look at the gas bill also, because when electricity goes up, all of a sudden the gas also goes up.
Ek dink ons moet dalk ook kyk na 'n gaswetsontwerp, want as elektrisiteitspryse verhoog, dan verhoog die gaspryse ook.
And I heard on the radio that lady say while they're cooking, the electricity goes off and the food then get damaged or must be thrown away.
Ek het gehoor ek wat op die radio sê, 'n vrou sê terwyl hulle kos maak, gaan die krag af en dan moet hierdie kos weggegooi word.
So like a municipality or any other municipalities, the tariffs are too high,
Die tariewe vir munisipaliteite is te hoog
and the tariffs at Eskom, if you connect it to your household, the tariffs are less. If I may be right.
Die tariewe wat dan deur Eskom is dan minder as ek dit reg het.
Okay, let me go to 3.10.2.
Kom ons gaan oor na 3.10.2 toe.
Section 11 of the Act requires an application for a license to be advertised.
Artikel 11 van die wet benodig dat 'n aansoek vir hierdie lisensie wat geadverteer moet word.
The provision may have intended consequences whereby commercially sensitive information of an applicant may be disclosed.
Dus daar ook 'n gevolg daarvan sal wees dat sensitiewe kommersiële inligting sal dan vir die publiek gegee kan word.
The proposed insertion of Section 3 seeks to provide applicants with an opportunity to request the regulator to treat their commercially sensitive information contained in an application for a license confidential and not publicly disclose such information.
Regulasie 10.3 gaan dan vir kans gee vir hierdie maatskappye dat hulle sensitiewe inligting nie deur die publiek bekend gemaak sal word nie, wat hulle kan aansoek doen by die reguleerder om dit so te kan mag doen.
I think we must relook at that thing because it raises concern with question marks.
Ek dink ons moet daarna kyk, daar's 'n paar vraagtekens wat dit vir ons maak.
Because we know the Poppy Act, but certain people understand the Poppy Act wrong.
Ons weet van die Poppy-wetgewing, maar baie sekere mense verstaan die Poppy-wetgewing verkeerd.
And then clause 3.11 amendment.
Klausule 3.11, die wysiging.
The Act provides that the regulator may require that an applicant publish a notice
Die reguleerder verwag van die aansoeker om 'n kennisgewing te publiseer,
a public notice of the application for a license and must consider objections to the application.
is 'n publieke publisering hiervan hierdie aansoek en hulle moet ook enige teenstaan oorweeg.
However, it is silent on how the regulator may require the applicant to publish a notice and does not provide for timelines within which the regulator must deal with objections.
Daar is ook nie duidelikheid gemaak hierso oor enige tydlyn of hoe hierdie gepubliseer moet word nie. Daar is geen aanduiding vir die reguleerder daarin nie.
Because the proposed amendment further requires the regulator to consider objections to applications within 30 days from the date of expiry of the time period set out of the receipts of the objections. This seeks to improve the turnaround times for the consideration and
Daar word verwysing
finalization.
gemaak na 30 dae vanaf die eind of die sluitingsdatum vir die verwerping of enige teenstaan. En dit wys verwysing na die verbetering van die regulasies
According to the notice.
volgens die kennisgewing.
315.5.
3.15.5
The proposed amendments of section 15.2 of the Act seeks to provide clarity that a license may not charge a consumer any tariff other than the tariff set out approved by the regulator as in accordance with the license condition.
3.15 of 15.2 verwys dat daar geen verdere tariewe gevra sal mag word van die mense af behalwe die tarief vir hierdie lisensie nie.
3.15.5, that is what I've now read.
3.15.5 is wat ek net gelees het.
Because you go to Pakistan, you buy electricity there, then you must pay a certain amount here, 10 rand or 5 rand at night because you after 10 or you after certain time period. Now you must pay him also that amount. And
As 'n mens na 'n Pakistanse winkel toe gaan, dan as 'n mens na 'n sekere tydperiode of met mense hulle geld so half onder die tafel gee, 10 rand hier of 'n 5 rand daar, omdat 'n mens sekere na ure by hulle krag koop.
And the other thing is, some people even wake them up because there's no electricity, then they must pay a fee of 30 to 40 rand, 50 rand in certain areas.
In sekere areas moet mense hulle tot tussen 30 en 50 rand betaal wanneer hulle wakker maak om krag by hulle te koop.
And even by Pick and Pay or Checkers or ShopRite or any other vendor, when you buy electricity there, it gets in 2 days paid over to the municipality. But I'm just thinking for administration fees, are there deductions? I must just double check that. Are there deductions about the electricity money? It is if it's in the act, right, because you pay your amount. And then is there an administration fee that you can get units less?
En dan as 'n mens nou praat van besighede waar mense krag koop soos Checkers of ShopRite of enige ander maatskappy en die geld word dan oorgesit na 2 dae aan die munisipaliteit. Ek moet net seker maak daarvan of daar administratiewe fooi is wat betaalbaar is en wat u dan minder eenhede op voor kry.
The last question, or just a concern that I've watched a lot of TV and news, is that now the other days in, I think it's Cape Town, where the municipality with the Metro Police couldn't go in, and the late afternoon they then went in and they all the cables was then taken, but those people were starting rioting and burning tires.
So ek weet nie, ek kyk nogals baie, was 'n bekommernis wat ek met u wil deel. Kyk nogals baie televisie en ek lees die nuus. Ek weet nie of dit in Kaapstad of daardie area was nie, maar die polisie en die metropolisie moes 'n area betree en hulle kon nie daar ingaan nie. Hulle kon later die area betree, hulle kon ingaan. Daar was kabels gewees, maar die mense het toe later 'n optog gehad.
The very last one, Johannesburg. My sister used to live in Johannesburg. So the community there by the flats, they doesn't pay any rental, they pay nothing. And because the flats is like broken down and the lights, and there's no lights working from the floodlights, but they don't pay while we pay over 2,000 rand for electricity and over 3,000 rand the municipal bill. So there's about almost 5,000 rand, almost a car's installment Thank you very much for this opportunity you gave me, and I'm glad you came to Kimberley, and I'm glad we are in a discussion process, not a fighting process, a discussion process. Thank you.
Ek wil net by u seker maak,
I did not get the name.
Glenn, okay, from Supply Cape Municipality, Traffic Officer, Glenn Peter Lang. You're not safe, actually. We'll be waiting for you when you get out of the city or out of town.
And do you support or decline to support the bill?
Discussion because you have to move around. So I will like to let them WhatsApp me or email me when the bill is up for approval. Then I can also write an objection or not supportive. But for now, this I support. Thank you.
And then at the end, we will make sure in a few minutes' time to give you the relevant email details for that purpose.
Thank you very much. Drive safely wherever you're going. And may God be with you, because we are on TV and there's a radio station. Thank you. Bye.
Now the gentleman likes his job.
die meneer hou baie van sy werk.
Now, I'm not intimidating you, but you can have a comment that is also commensurate with your height.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, members of parliament.
Goeiemôre aan almal en die lede van die parlement.
My name is Untatile Namelang.
Ek is Ntati in Namelang.
Untatile Namelang, yes.
Namelang.
I am the African National Congress member.
Ek is lid van die ANC.
I'm living in Magareng, in Warrenton, Magareng sub-region.
Ek woon in Warrenton, Magareng substreek.
Yes. Firstly, I would like to say to the committee, but not only this committee, to say they must start to emphasize on the proactiveness of communication.
Ek wil graag vir die komitee sê dat hulle moet 'n klem lê op die proaktiwiteit van kommunikasie.
Because when we are having such engagement, it really the input of our people are really important and are needed.
Want met sulke openbare verhore is die insaag van ons gemeenskappe baie belangrik.
Yes, without wasting any time on our members, without wasting any time on our members, I would like to put it on record that I support the bill.
Sonder om enige verdere sloer te veroorsaak, wil ek dit aan die lede bekend maak dat ek hierdie wetsontwerp ondersteun.
Yes, because I believe that it tries to resolve the energy crisis that we are currently facing.
Want ek glo dit skakel in om die elektrisiteitskrisis wat ons ervaar aan te spreek.
Having said that, I thank you.
En dit gesê, bedank ek u.
Because you are the last, I withdraw that part of the commensurate to your height for purposes of you. Try to match the height of that other gentleman.
Good afternoon, panel. Thank you very much for coming. Although our participation is not so big as we expected it to be.
Goeiemiddag, baie dankie dat u hier is. Al is ons teenwoordigheid en deelname nou nie so goed soos wat ons wou hê dit moet wees nie.
My name is Reynold Jonathan Jewett. I represent the Patriotic Alliance, and I'm a member from Supply Cape Municipality.
My naam is Reynold Jonathan Jewett. Ek is 'n lid van die Patriotiese Alliansie en ek is van Supply Cape Munisipaliteit.
Laten we begin by die begin. Ja, ek sal 'n bietjie change hierso.
I'll start from the beginning. I might switch languages a bit.
I do not support this bill. And firstly, that there is so much technical terms that is still very confusing to the basic man on the ground. when you
Ek ondersteun eerstens nie hierdie wetsontwerp nie weens die tegniese terminologie wat opgevat is in hierdie wetsontwerp wat dalk nie vir die man op die straat verstaanbaar is nie.
For a plain and simple laborer like me, I am very much confused with certain things. But the one thing that is really confusing me is that we are trying to solve the problem here. The problem that we have currently is ESCOM is a failure.
Nou vir my is daar 'n paar goed wat ek as 'n arbeider wat ek nie verstaan. My hoofprobleem is dat ESCOM 'n mislukking is.
So we want to get privatized electricity in this country. But who is going to be the people that's going to award companies to say which company will be able to regulate electricity in this country? Who is going to be responsible for that? And how sure are we that the same people that is running ESCOM to the ground will not also make new companies and they will also be once again in the spot that has been causing this problem for us?
Ons sien dat daar in hierdie wetsontwerp gepraat word van privatisering van elektrisiteitsverskaffers. Maar hoe gaan ons seker maak dat die mense wat nou wil elektrisiteit verskaf, hierdie privaat maatskappye, nie ook soos ESCOM bestuur sal word nie en dat hulle ook so korrup kan raak en ompaaie vind om deel te word van hierdie proses?
Because right now, there's a boat sitting here outside from Turkey, outside of Durban. And this boat is supposed to bring electricity to our shores.
Ons sit met 'n boot van Turkye wat in Durban hawe staan wat elektrisiteit aan ons moet verskaf.
The same people of this boat, just the other day, they cut off a country who could not pay them. But with ESCOM, we can still negotiate and we tell our ESCOM, yeah, we do with ESCOM whatever we want. We manipulate ESCOM. And ESCOM, when ESCOM said we're going to cut off Tuesday, Monday morning, ESCOM, they leave us. But those people from overseas, they will not beg us. They will cut us off.
Hierdie mense van hierdie Turkse maatskappy het reeds ander lande se elektrisiteit afgesny wat nie kon betaal nie, maar met ESCOM kan die mense dalk nog 'n bietjie op en af en onderhandel om nie die elektrisiteit af te sit nie. Maar met hulle sal ons dit nie kan doen nie.
So for me, where I'm standing and I'm looking at this thing, I would really like to support a change for this crisis we are sitting, but the technical terms and the question marks are just too much from the administration of this thing, from the regulation of the pricing, from the awarding of the companies who are going to be responsible for giving us electricity. I'd rather much than if it's like that, go stay outside of Orania and then steal electricity from them because they are sorted out that side. Because then I would avoid all these companies that's going to come and cause us problems again.
Hierdie tegniese terminologie en die privatisering en die vrae wat geopper word of ontstaan rondom hierdie geprivatiseerde maatskappye maak dit vir my baie moeilik om hierdie wetsontwerp te ondersteun. Ek dink wel, jy weet, dalk moet ons maar eerder net buite Orania die mense van daar se krag maar liewers net vat.
But I would argue, I would plead with the panel, please be considerate when you appoint companies. Please think about the basic man on the street. We're sitting with the huge unemployment in this country. Huge tariffs are being charged on electricity. Please think of the common man on the street before you award this thing and let it go through. Thank you very much.
My pleidooi aan die komitee wanneer hierdie wetsontwerp voortgesit word is om regtig aandag te lê en die algemene man op die straat in ag te neem wanneer hierdie wetsontwerp voortgesit word, want dis daai persone wat die swaarste kry wanneer dit kom by hierdie geprivatiseerde maatskappye. Dink aan ons wanneer julle dit aanvaar. Baie dankie.
Once more, thank you very much for the inputs that have come through from all of you. Be rest assured that those inputs are going to be part and parcel of our deliberations when we are in committee and even beyond when we are in the National Assembly.
Baie dankie vir die insaag wat u vandag gelewer het. Wees asseblief verseker dat u insaag deel sal wees van ons besprekinge as 'n komitee en ook aan ons voorlegging aan die parlement.
So as we discuss the bill and we made some references to what is in the bill, we just want to make one comment in relation to a question that was asked and which is a fair question about the so-called privatization and the involvement of business in it.
Daar was 'n vraag geopper oor die sogenaamde privatisering en die betrekking daarmee, die regulering daarvan.
I think it was Mr. Van Zyl who needed such clarity.
Ek dink meneer Van Zyl het gevra vir duidelikheid daaromtrent.
In practical terms and in simple terms, business will be involved.
In praktiese en eenvoudige terme sal besighede betrek word.
And a part and parcel of that business involvement is one example that I just want to make now, that you have people like your Business Unity South Africa, which represents business, and they have been making inputs on the bill themselves.
En deel van hierdie besighede se betrekking hiermee is 'n organisasie Business Unity South Africa en hulle het ook alreeds insaag gelewer rondom hierdie wetsontwerp en die regulering daarvan.
So the process encompasses business as well.
So die proses sluit ook besighede daarbey in.
But the clauses in the act, it's a question of having an Eskom holding company where we also have other SOEs participate alongside with any other person who will be generating and transmitting electricity.
So die proses is om Eskom maatskappy te hê en ook ander staatsbesitte entiteite wat saam gelyktydig werk om elektrisiteit te voorsien.
So what the department is proposing is an all-encompassing regime where everybody comes to the party in terms of alleviating the energy situation that we have, the electricity situation that we have. So there is room for businesses. There is a regime that deals with the licensing to anybody who would want that license, and the regulations are stipulated and how that license would be given to everybody who would have such interest.
So die doel is om 'n omvattende stelsel van verspreiding en voorsiening te hê en daar sal plek wees vir maatskappye en daar sal voorsiening gemaak word vir lisensiering en die regulasies rondom lisensiering en hoe mense kan aansoek doen daarvoor.
And the watchdog, the regulator, is also spoken about in the bill.
En die reguleerder wat dit sal monitor word ook bespreek in hierdie wetsontwerp.
So who will have to make sure that everybody is subject to the regulations that are there.
So ons moet seker maak dat almal onderworpe is aan die regulasies wat in hierdie wetsontwerp bespreek word.
So other members are saying no, that regulator must not be there, the powers must be shifted, the powers must be increased and so on. It's a discussion at play and we will come to that when we discuss ourselves as well.
Daar is besprekinge dat die reguleerder nie betrek moet word nie, dat die magte verskuif moet word na ander entiteit toe, maar dit is nog alles in die besprekingsproses.
The other issue that I just want to pass by through is what happens from here, or while we are still here, the people who wanted to give over their presentations to the table are more than welcome. We are still open for presentations via the other platforms like your email, and for that you can have your pens ready for noting who you must send those emails to.
Dan wil ek ook vir u net uitnooi dat die van u wat geskrewe insaag het of voorleggings het dit ook vir ons in te dien en ek gaan vir u ook nou die e-posadresse gee waarheen u dit kan stuur.
So for that correspondence we have boss @parliament.gov.za.
Dan die eerste e-posadres is aboss@parliament.gov.za, soos aboss@parliament.gov.za.
The other number is for Kotze. It's another Kotze, Kotze, @parliament.gov.za.
Dan die tweede e-posadres is akotse, akotze, by parliament.gov.za.
So we will incorporate whatever that you send with what we get from the different communities, different provinces, different regions, and make sure that it finds expression in our discussion.
Dan sal ons ook al hierdie insette wat ons ontvang van die verskillende gemeenskappe, distrikte en entiteite in ons verslag saamvat.
Thank you for your participation, and I would want to give over to the chairperson to pave a way forward from here.
Ek dankie vir die deelname en ek handig oor aan die voorsitter om vir ons te verduidelik wat die weg vorentoe sal wees.
Thank you, Honorable Von Marans, for presiding over this session.
Baie dankie agbare Wolmerans dat u hierdie sessie vir ons gelei het.
First, let me start with the positive.
Kom ons begin met die positiewe punte eerstens.
The traffic officer says we must drive safely.
Die verkeersbeampte sê ons moet veilig ry.
We start here to drive the meeting here safely.
Ons begin om die vergadering hier veilig te bestuur.
I want to plead with you and many others like you, don't do this injustice to yourself.
Ek pleit by u en ander moenie julleself indoen nie.
The points you have raised, the only disadvantage with them is that if we don't have them in writing, they've got the potential to disappear.
Die enigste nadeel met die punte wat u geopper het, is dat as dit nie op skrif is nie, is daar die risiko dat dit dalk gemis kan word en nie akkuraat vasgelê kan word nie.
So I urge you, whatever little time, even if you are sitting under the tree, I know sometimes traffic cops, they just go and park a car under the tree.
So ek moedig jy aan om met die tyd wat jy beskikbaar het, selfs al is dit onder die boom waar die verkeersbeampte soms sit, te gebruik.
I once said a joke and said my wife will never be a traffic cop because I don't know when a man and a woman, married or not married, they are sitting under the tree, just park the car. What is the conversation?
Ek het altyd gesê my vrou sal nie 'n verkeersbeampte kan word nie, want ek weet nie waaroor 'n man en 'n vrou onder 'n boom in die kar sal gesels nie.
But on a serious note, yourself and the gentleman there,
Maar u en die
And this
meneer
one.
daar, ja,
please don't do injustice to yourself.
moenie
But also
julleself
don't
te
do
nakom nie.
injustice to others.
Moenie julleself te nakom nie, asseblief dien julle geskrewe insaag in.
And we can share, when you talk about technical questions or technical language that is being used, it is important to also do self-interpretation of the technical language, to say, if this is what it means, this is my view. If this is what it means, then I'm comfortable with it.
Wanneer dit kom by die tegniese vrae en die taalgebruik, is dit ook belangrik om dit self te probeer interpreteer en te sê dat as dit is wat dit vir my beteken, sal ek dit dan kan aanvaar of teenstaan.
Now, Makua Mo, you know, as a chair, there's only one thing I have, and I always ask for it: patience.
As 'n voorsitter is daar een ding wat ek het en ek vra altyd daarvoor en dit is geduld.
In the student movement, there was one thing that we used to do very good. You first distort the statement or the statement of fact, and then you place your argument. So, in essence, you misdirect so that what you want to say, you must understand it in the manner you want to give the response.
Toe ek in die studentebeweging was, het ek geleer dat 'n mens 'n feitestelling amper andersom moet stel, sodat jy ook die vraag wat jy vra se antwoord moet ken en verstaan.
I'm not going to bore this meeting about certain things that we've got a privilege of sitting somewhere. I hope, Makua, you have made your written submission and will allow you to make oral submissions to it.
Ek hoop dat u geskrewe indiening gemaak het en ook ons sal u geleentheid gee om dit mondelings ook te doen.
But let me say, that's where we must deal with some of the issues. And I'm not going to go that low and respond to some of them. But I can assure you, there's a lot of distortion on what you are doing or saying. And I will say some now to prove a point. I will even read the statement. So that just 2 paragraphs on yesterday's statement when I was not there, I will read it to this house and say, this statement takes sides.
Ek sal vir u lees van gister se stellings wat gemaak is om vir u uit te wys dat van hierdie stellings kant kies.
Something that for me beats the logic is that Makua was said, I don't know how many times, the only, I'm not joking, the only entity or the only organization we sat down, we drafted a document. That document was saying how committees of parliament work. Committees. I would have expected twice as special on that. When you then start and say this committee did this, you quote from the rules of parliament. What rule this committee has breached of parliament? I haven't heard you on anything that you say. The rules of parliament say this. I'm saying you can go and prove it. We are finalizing the 5th year now. The only organization that we went and said, guys, rather than to deal with peripheral issues, so that we can deal with substantive issues, can we sit down, take you through? I can tell you one of the recommendations we even made to you. One, you said you wanted transport for Makua. We said a committee of parliament is not a recognizing structure of any other structures. We deal with people on their collectiveness, but also as individuals. So if an individual writes to the committee here, we can't say that individual must go to the organization. They have a right. 2, when you said you wanted the transport, we said, transport, if it is provided by parliament, it is provided for everyone. There is no way you will come in and say, no, this is for our organization. 3, so that we clear this thing now. I want to deal with the fact. When we started in Limpopo, I don't want to mention names of people, Makua stood up and said, stop this thing that you are doing, because you started to give notice on this date. We didn't respond. Then we were told, if you don't stop this thing, we'll never participate in this process. It's a record, it's recorded. If you never, we'll never participate in this process. The following day, you were there. We didn't ask you because you are entitled. You are entitled as a public that you follow us tomorrow to Bloemfontein. We will welcome you. But there's only one thing we will not allow, is a situation when, being anti-authority, you want the committee to account to you. That is not possible to happen. The committee accounts to parliament according to the rules of parliament, and therefore it accounts to the public. So I want us to clarify this thing, because we even said, Makua, it may help you to consider what are the structures. I can tell you, I don't hide it. My background is from the trade unions. COSAT has got an office in parliament, a parliamentary office. That parliamentary office assists when the committee meets to listen what the committee is going to do, and then it alerts its organization. On the 18th now, Makua sends me a message, somebody says, can we get the venues for the meetings in the Northern Cape? I said, go to the secretary of the committee, because anything of parliament is public. It's going to give you. On the 19th, it's on the record, Makua was given the venues. I can tell you now, you are not given only now the venues in Northern Cape, you are given the places in the entire left areas of Siaguzon, where we are going. I can tell you, you do have the program. The last is Utinek on the 30th of November. You must check it in your program, it's not there. What Makua then must understand, and we have been explaining this thing, is either they want to take it or they don't want. We can't force them. And I will explain again this distortion that we said we want municipalities and so forth. I will explain even that one. We then said, and not only to Makua, everywhere we explain, the hall here, we can't give you a hall in 2 weeks' time until the municipality in Kimberley gives us the venue. We then can distribute the venue because there's nothing we're hiding. But we can't be held to ransom why you did not have a venue in Johannesburg. The city of Johannesburg must give us the venues. The city of Ekurhuleni must give us venues. I explained 120 times. I'm from KwaZulu-Natal. Maybe I can know which venues I can pick up, but that is an administrative part. I can tell you now, no one from, even yourself from head office of Makua Amoa, you know that when you go to Mhlabea Lingani in KZN, where will be the venue? Your people in that area will look for the venue, either they book it by care, even if you pay for it. They are the ones who are in the local who will understand venues. So where is the problem? Now here's the second thing, please guys. Please, and I'm saying this thing because we need your positive contribution. But you seem everywhere you go, your mind is already made up that this one. And the problem you are doing, and I must say today, is that you deliberately make a committee a one-body thing. Let's have that discussion. The fact that you may have a problem with the ANC members of parliament or the ANC as an organization, don't make Honorable Graham Murray to also become a victim by virtue of association by being a member of this committee. So it is disingenuous to say the committee has made up its mind. We may explain it, I accepted it, how many times? The committee will make its position when it has deliberated, like we did yesterday when we adopted the Upstream Petroleum Resources Development Bill. So there is no such a thing. Now, the reason I'm saying we have got there's a distortion again, let me explain this. And I'm saying this, Makua Amua, please, at some point, we are all intelligent. It's not correct to go. You may feel that people that are sitting here don't know. You are the only one, because the interpretation that is risk now is that you are the only one who knows what's happening. These people that are here know nothing. That's an insult. I take everyone, even the one who may not know, that that person has got a capacity that in the proceedings now understand what is happening and can make a contribution. So it should not be. Quickly, let me explain this other thing. You know what is the mistake? Show me any process in society that does not require improvement. There's nothing wrong to say, and we repeat it. Tell us. That's why you are not saying what I used to say, because it's me saying, tell us where you think you are not doing enough. How can we improve on communication? But you also forget, then that's when I start to count. I never said, because there are no people here, we want people to, we said, help us to improve. Any growing individual consciously will understand that there is always a room for improvement. But the room for improvement should not be converted into meaning that everything is wrong. No. But you have the freedom. You said you are going to court. We didn't fight with you. You said This one guaranteed that 3. If you continue with the rest, you see there is a preemptive decision already. If you go ahead with the rest, then you must know that you don't have our support. Now, why are you accusing us about supporting the bill or not supporting? Let me help you. You know, when people are sitting there, I don't work with people. If you are a thunderhead, I can see you first time and say, hey, we need somebody there. I don't work with thunderheads. I work with people who are very efficient. They even give you the stats after it is done. That is why we specifically say you support or you don't support the bill. But it doesn't mean if majority of people here support the bill, they are blindly supporting the bill. I can tell you sitting here, probably we may disagree with Honorable Mare, what the gentleman here who's a traffic cop raised is a very serious matter. That you can't have a contractual arrangement that is treated as confidential. And if he's raising that issue, we have to highlight that here is another major issue that is a challenge. It doesn't mean it's a position of the committee. Now let me read what the committee said that is accused of today. It says, listen very properly, with a majority supporting the bill, a major pillar. Well, maybe that's the technical language you're talking about. We must go and understand English. I may not understand English. Maybe we are conflicted. Conflicted is only on the use of concepts. It says a major pillar for the support was that ESCOM and South Africans will benefit greatly from a competitive energy market. Now, if you like, you read that sentence only and stop and not go further. But when you go further, it says, some participants further emphasize that the bill is long overdue and that all efforts must be made. Here's the writer. Must be made to ensure that it is implemented efficiently, to ensure that the poor benefit from energy tariff stabilization because of competitive energy market. So what is wrong there when you say, whatever you do with ESCOM, don't privatize it. Give priority to the poor. Make sure that the poor is not, in simple language, make sure that the poor is not worse off. Now let's go further, maybe we will see. Now here is an objective one. It says, despite, yes, we must do English now. Despite the support, there were numerous calls cautioning against the privatization of ESCOM as it has the potential to negatively affect the poor, especially the companies that are mainly interested in profit making, which might make electricity unaffordable. Furthermore, participants argued that energy generation should remain the responsibility of the state as it has the duty to care and protect the people, especially the poor. So this statement is wrong. It's wrong. Instead of appreciating a balanced statement, because even if people by majority they support the bill, we should not, it will be naive of us even sitting here as members. That's what we have been saying. The fact that you support the bill, it doesn't mean you agree with all the amendments that are proposed in the bill. So agreeing on the bill is not equivalent. That is why even at the tail end of the bill, when we deal with it, You may agree with some clauses, but disagree with the bill. The final arbiter will be whether you accept the bill in its totality. So I don't know what more we need to do. But as I said, we respect the right of individuals. One thing, Makua, I must say this again. And you have not said it today, and I didn't want to respond to it. Please, let's leave that thing, because we are going to respond to each other and distort the meeting. I'm not going to again respond to this, because our focus is on the work we are sent by Parliament and by the people. So to be sideshowed and end up arguing about things that are not relevant to what we are sent, but let's meet at the appropriate time. And I must say, there, once you make it, we will respond to it properly. For instance, and I said, you have not said this, in that platform, let's deal with who is a rented crowd. Let's deal with that thing, because in other platforms we've been told, we are listening. When people come to the public hearings, it's rented crowd. When they are not in the public hearings, people have not been informed. Let's have that discussion. When you give an oral, I want you to be free on that platform. I will even ask my committee to say, we must give you 5 minutes extra than others, so that we iron out this thing once and for all. But I think some of the things, with all due respect, we are responding to them, because if we don't, they will continue to be a trend. We are not hiding information, and I'm saying on the 19th, you must go and check the record. That information was sent. It includes the entire places where we are going up to the 30th of November. I may have been born in Port Elizabeth, but I don't know the venues. I left there long years ago. Probably some were not even born. So I wouldn't now, sitting here in Utenyeg, where the venue will be, except Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, give us a venue. I explained, I said, in other places we are working with coalition governments. Today you sleep, the mayor is so and the speaker. The next moment, by the time the letter arrives, there has been a vote of no confidence. That person is no longer there. So bad. One thing we'll never do to you, Makua, and including any other person, that you are guaranteed your right to engage this committee. Your right to engage with issues that are in the public domain with this committee will always be protected. We guarantee you that one. But let's try, and I'm not begging that you must try, but let's try not to create situations as if we don't have platforms where we could go. We do, I can tell you now. We do. I don't see any reason if somebody picks up the phone. Chair, have you noticed that we don't have the venue? If we don't have it, you say, no, we don't have the venue. But why wouldn't you mobilize your people in Port Elizabeth, in Nelson Mandela Bay now, and say on the 30th, the committee is coming, it's going to be in Utenyeg. It can't be only when it's in Utenyeg, it must have a venue. I know Utenyeg. If it is in Utenyeg, we'll say it's in Kwalanga, or it's in this place. That's all. It depends what the venue the municipality is giving. I hope now I've clarified this thing, because we don't go through without interacting with our local government. That's what is called cooperative governance. I'm not fighting Makua. I don't have that capacity or energy. I explain things, but at times when I speak, you may think I'm fighting. Now, this is what is going to happen. One, that email address, you can do it. I said, we are finishing on the 30th of November. Please, by the 30th of November, my advice, you must have sent it to us. Because when we are done here, with all the public consultation processes, we will compile a report. The point that also Makua is raising may arise at the end of the committee to say, look, in these particular areas, we are not satisfied. It depends when members deliberate. If they agree that, look, we may have to revisit this area because of this and that, that's what the committee agrees on. But if we adopt the report, it will be impossible to accommodate any other correspondence sent to the committee. So send that correspondence at least the latest by the 30th of November. When it is sent, we'll compile the report, we'll deliberate as a committee. After deliberations, we will then agree or disagree, but we'll make recommendations to the National Assembly. If the National Assembly adopts that report or the proposed amendments, then they will go to the National Council of Provinces. From the National Council of Provinces, the select committee relevant on mineral resources and energy will then conduct its own public hearing. So if they come back in this hall, it will be because the municipality here would have given them this hall. When it has done so, reporting also to the NCOP, if the NCOP passes the recommendations of this bill, obviously with amendments, I don't see, in fact, I've not experienced a bill that when it was proposed in Parliament, how it is, it then just went in through clean. There are some lot of changes that might happen on the basis of the inputs that we made. Then it will be referred to the president. When the president signs that bill, it then becomes law. Now, I was told there is somebody who raised an issue which we are sensitive to it, but we will see whether it is possible to happen. Who said, I hope I'm interpreting correct, please, isn't it possible that when you come, you also give us the original version of the bill? It sounds good. We will check whether the rules allow it. Remember, the minister, in this case, writes to the speaker and say, I'm proposing these amendments. So what comes to the committee, it's not the bill, it's not the act, it's the proposed amendment from the minister. So it becomes, I have not seen then a committee printing what is not referred to it. It's not the act that is referred, it's amendments to the act. But I'm saying it's something that we will have to go and work it out, because when it comes to production, we are not in charge of that administrative part. So they may come back and say, yes, but forget it, the procedure and the rules of Parliament are that you only print what has been referred to you as a committee. But I can advise, safely so, that don't wait for that, because those are bureaucratic things that happen. You can just go to the website and punch and print the Electricity Regulation Act of 2006. It will come clean. And you then have that copy, you then compare. So I can only say, if we go and Google, let's just Google the Electricity Regulation Act of 2006, you will find that act in totality. I understand why that logic comes in, because you are not only limited to comment on the amendment, you may also be able to say, in fact, what is being proposed on the amendment is not what, for me, I'm interested in. I think in the original act, you need to amend this particular clause of the act. So I understand in that context, if we say you are not limited to it, at least you must have access to the original act. We will try and see how to work that thing out. But in the meantime, I think that's the rule we can follow. You did very well. On that note, leave our own fights. They always say, don't come to the fights of parents. Leave those. Those are very high national. Leave them. From time to time, we will. I hope finally we will find one another. On that note, thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
5-minute speech.